Yo, what up everyone? Press the priest here. I queued up with Bigcreamer, a warrior who happens to main as a priest at 2.5k rating, and he was happy to coach me. My main weaknesses are my positioning and my mana management. Here I have two Warlock Druid games that show the importance of positioning. Warlock Druid has trouble building pressure against priests because of their lack of offensive dispels. But, especially in the first game, I position poorly, and this allows them to get CC chains and build pressure. So let's take a look at what poor positioning looks like, what the consequences are, and how to improve. This is the first game. We can just wait at the pillar and wait for the HOTS to fall, but instead I go Rambo. I get caught in the middle and I eat a full fear. Because of this, Bigcreamer feels forced to trinket a root to stop the next fear. After the fear, I don't walk to the right position immediately, which would be behind the pillar. Instead, I get cloned. After the clone expires, I run forward for whatever reason and get feared again. Then, because I'm not aware of my DRs, I don't focus on getting out of line of the Druid. And by now I'm out of fear DR, but I lock out and I resist it. Here I'm playing bad again, and I could have been bashed by the Druid. Now my positioning is good. Bigcreamer gets a 2-second fear, but I can't reach him, so I nope out. I chase to dispel a 5-second root and get cloned as a result. Instead, I should just accept that Bigcreamer is rooted and stay at the pillar. I do manage to range or line the upcoming fear. Here I'm hoping Bigcreamer will switch on the pet, but it was actually a really good moment to cross pillars, so I should have just done that instead. I end up crossing pillars anyway. Here I do okay. Ideally I would have gone right side immediately, but then I would have been able to dispel the death coil. But at least I did not eat a clone to dispel the coil. Here I don't fear the Druid immediately because I want to save the fear to possibly interrupt the summon, but I end up getting bashed and CC'd instead. Bigcreamer saves the day and kills the pet. I pop PI to build additional pressure. I stay on top of the Warlock so I can maybe fear the Feldom, but then a nice double fear opportunity presents itself. In this case, my aggressive positioning was good. By my movement, you can see that I'm not thinking ahead of where I should be positioned. That would have been the pillar to the left. Bigcreamer is out of range and I overcorrect for that by running through the middle. I don't even have fear at the moment and I don't realize that. Still, my aggression gets a nice double fear, so I think that's how I got into this habit. Nevertheless, I could have also gotten the double fear if I ran via the other pillar first, or I could have just drank there. Here the pet is dead, so I mount, so I can maybe stop the Warlock. I line the fear and I don't have my fear yet, so I go for mind control. The Warlock aborts the summon, but I'm not glued to the pillar enough and I get feared. I trinket because I want to fear for additional pressure. I let myself get half feared for no good reason. This is getting a little painful to watch. Fortunately, the Druid succumbs to the pressure. He runs into me, I have fear, and he dies into the fear. Alright, so this is the second game, one in which I played much better. I'm receiving some quick last minute pointers from the coach. The Warlock jumps in with many buffs, so I just pop PI. Here I do a good job lining. All I can think is double fear, while I should be thinking bash. I drop down to line the fear and move back up to dispel the root. Here I'm glued to the pillar nicely. And I just drink. They park the pet in the middle, so Bigcreamer switches on it to prevent him from being pulled away too much. I'm slow with moving forward to dispel the pet, but I move back nicely when I can. Again, I like my positioning. Although Bigcreamer is cloned, the Warlock can't get at me. The Warlock moves in and I'm not planning on reaching the Druid anytime soon, so I just fear the Warlock. I'm slow on deathing the fear, but I shouldn't death while I have fear ward anyway. Here I raise the mana burn versus Cyclone and it's obvious who wins. Just a tiny step backwards and I would have lined it. I don't dispel the death coil in time, but I resist the fear. Bigcreamer is lining clones like a champ. Here I take a guess that the Fell Hunter is out of range and I top Bigcreamer. The Fell Hunter dies, so now it's time to chase. Bigcreamer reflects the Cyclone. And I just full fear off. So these were the games. I hope you learned something. I know I sure did. If you want to see more, then consider subscribing and don't forget to like and comment.